Hi, welcome back to the Unraveling Soprano. I'm Heather, and this is my channel where I talk about all my makes from the week, whether that's knitting, sewing, crochet, gardening. Today we're actually going to do a little bit of a knit and chat because I still have lots of sleeves to do. But first, let me show you what I have done. So this is one of my sleeves for my wrap over cardigan. So what I got so far. This is how much I've got done yesterday from this marker on. I'm doing pretty well. It's just taking, it's because it's fingering weight yarn. It's just taking a little bit longer. But I decided to kill two birds with one stone and do a little bit of a knit and chat. I haven't done that yet on my channel, and I feel like it's probably a good way to get some content but not feel the pressure of like trying to get things finished, because I think that like that's sometimes a really big pressure with knitting channels, is that you want to show a project, like a finished project every week, because it makes good content, but that's not particularly realistic for my life. So we're just doing a little bit of knit and chat. So what am I wearing? You see this if you've been on if you've watched my channel for any length of time. I wear this sweater a lot. It's the Arinco sweater. I can never remember who the designer is, but it's in Knit Pick Stroll in the color Pucker, I believe. I'm actually not 100% sure if it's Pucker, but I've been saying it's Pucker, so that's that. So I have about, I think, like 20 more rows on this particular sleeve before I am able to do the raglan decreases. So, and I have this much yarn left on my ball. So maybe halfway through this, I'm going to actually end up changing yarn or adding yarn. So yeah, so just kind of a bit of a life update. It was very, like, the weather in the Midwest has been just kind of crazy. Like this morning I woke up and it was like early spring weather, and it is almost June, so that's interesting. And then now it's like currently 74 degrees in my room, which it's a little warm, but I don't want to turn the AC on because that's a lot of extra noise, and I already get like a lot of ambient noise in this room. Just because I don't wear a lavalier mic. I have a shotgun mic, and I have a shotgun mic for a couple of different reasons. One, because I'm a singer, I wanted something that would do well for singing, because I sing pretty loud, and if I used a lav mic, the mic that like pins up there, I might blow out the mic. Maybe not really, but like definitely the levels would be something that I wouldn't be able to have really good sound quality on, and this, at least I can like change the dial and I just have to project a little bit. But the downside is that there's any like ambient noise of air conditioners or like just stuff outside or just my air cleaner, it picks it all up, which I take out in post, but yeah, just means I have to project a little bit more. Yeah, so things that have been going on. I know I had recently said that I had a new job. I've lost the stitch. And I've been trying to balance work-life balance. Balance work-life balance. And it's a work in progress. Definitely. I think that I had a lot of, I've been very lucky in my career that I've had the ability to do a lot of creative things, a lot of things that might be stressful, but at the end of the day, they fill my cup. And pretty much since the pandemic, I have unfortunately not been able to have as many positions that are creatively fulfilling. I mean, I think every single role you can, like, there's an element of creativity in pretty much anything you can do, but I am finding more and more that I'm one of those people that needs to be creative first. So that's been, I mean, and I guess like a creative career is always going to be ebb and flow, and I knew that. I've always known that it's never been um, something that is promised, right? Like it's the most people who go into creative fields, they understand that like it's never going to be a straight like line up to like I don't know to Broadway. Sure, let's have Broadway be the marker that we're going for, or for this example. So most people know that it's not going to be like going to your middle school plays, your high school plays, getting into college, and then suddenly Broadway. I mean, that does happen to people. It's just not particularly likely. I have just gotten this in a whole lot of a mess. Um, but I was really lucky when I was when I was living in Chicago that I was able to teach a lot, which was fantastic. I really just got this in. I have so little yarn left. What did I do? How do I do this? I always do this. Like it's always like it ends up knotting itself. I don't know how I all right, I think we're good. I think we're good. What's that? That's a knot. So we're honestly a big thing about this knit and chat is can I actually knit and chat? That's gonna be the biggest thing with there we go. All right. But yeah, so I was really lucky that I was able to teach a lot and perform here and there, but a lot of my work was teaching, and that definitely filled my cup, made me feel like even if I was putting in long hours, that I didn't get burned out, right? Like I didn't feel like it was ever too much. I mean, there was definitely stressful times getting ready for a show, all the things that happen like the week before a show, and then when you're working with like kids, like it's can be chaotic, but it's always like a good chaos. And I have this like as transitioning into less creative work, I find that obviously I miss the arts a lot, but I also it's making time to be creative, like forcing. I mean, I don't say forcing myself, but like dedicating certain times, even if I'm tired, even if I um, don't feel like it, just really making sure that I have some time every day to be creative is just of vital importance now, more than it was when I was teaching. Because when I was teaching, I was like, well, I'm singing every day. I'm doing creative tasks every day. So if I don't do it when I go home, or if like I didn't get into that show, um, oh well, not the end of the world because I'm still in this world. I'm still doing this thing. And now it's like when I don't get into a show or I don't have as many auditioning opportunities, I think I feel it more. I think I feel like it has far more of an impact than it once did. And and that kind of is frustrating. But yeah, so trying to like find that work life balance and making sure that the my creative hobbies and professional creative pursuits are still at top of mind, like still a prominent thing that I do. I think it's just more important. So that was kind of a tangent. Other things going on in my life. The garden is looking fantastic. I think we're going to have fantastic potatoes. I don't have any potato blight yet. Let me knock on wood. There's wood somewhere. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I think that I'm going to have lots of great potatoes, which is fantastic. We tried some of the lettuce that I was working on last weekend. It was pretty good. I know that, like, there are some things that, well, I guess the biggest thing I noticed with my homegrown lettuce is that how long it lasts in the fridge. I think that we often don't really take into consideration the how long it takes to get from farm to grocery store. I mean, this is not a new revelation. I'm sure other people have had much more pithy. Is that the word? Uh, Much more interesting takes or well-informed takes on that. But like I picked some spinach and it lasted like a week in the fridge and was still like really good. Where oftentimes I'll get a bag of spinach and it will last like 3 days before it gets kind of slimy. So that I want to see what I can do to grow lettuce greens year round. Because I know that I think that I can do that in my area, which would be great because then like I feel like I'm wasting less money and lettuce seeds are so cheap. I did most of the plants I have right now. They were from starts that I bought at the home improvement store and not from seed. The ones I did from seed didn't do so well, but I think it's because it's really late in the season. Like I put them in the ground maybe late March, and I think that's actually kind of late. Like I probably should have put them in the ground in February. I'm actually not sure, but I know that like going into the fall, I think I can put them in the ground a little earlier and then see if that does well, and then to cover them, maybe like grow them through the winter. We'll see. But yeah, so that is my garden update. Um, it's there hasn't been much actual growth since I did like my kind of garden tour. But we have been getting like plenty of really good spring days where it's been a good mixture of like getting actual sun and also getting rain. So I haven't actually had to do much in the garden. It's just been kind of doing its thing, which is ideal. I was really excited about the asparagus that has been popping up, which I showed last week. That we can't harvest it. I think it like takes like 3 years for asparagus to do its thing, but it's just nice that like it didn't die. um, and I got those. I got asparagus crowns from Gurney's, and I've just been really impressed with how well they've done. I mean, I don't know if my soil is particularly good for asparagus, but I mean, it's doing okay. It's doing its thing. Other things that I finally finished Remarkably Bright Creatures. I loved that book. It was so good. And I know people said that it was good. Like it's gotten really good reviews, and I thought it was going to be so completely different than it was. And I didn't really read any synopsis of the book beforehand. I just kind of went off of the just like what I word of mouth that it was good, but didn't have any sort of like insight about what the plot would be about. And I thought it would just be purely about an octopus. And it was not. It was great. It was, I mean, I would have liked it if it was purely about an octopus. But the fact that it had like really, like just a really rich plot and very heartwarming. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I'm still doing Scarlet Letter. Scarlet Letter. Can't talk today. But I'm reading also another book, and by reading I mean audiobook. It's one of the Miss Fisher murder mysteries, which I just love. I can't remember which one. Murder in Montparnasse, I think maybe. But I really like the Miss Fisher books. I really loved the series. I watched the series before I started reading the books. So that has kind of what I picture in my head is basically just like the series. Um, but yeah, so and I've been Miss Fisher several times for Halloween, which is always fun. So yeah, they're easy reads. They're quick. No real brain power. I usually, even if I didn't see the series, if there's like one that hasn't been made into one of the TV shows or one of the TV episodes, I pretty much can guess the murderer by the end. So it's like kind of in that genre of cozy mystery, but it's like historical, vaguely historical. I don't think it's actually historical. It also has like this very, you can tell that, is it Carrie Greenwood? Yeah. You can tell Carrie Greenwood was a theater girly, because she's just got a lot of like Shakespeare quotes and a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan call outs, which I always love. Um, and they're just fun. And I think that we are living in a time where it's just so important to turn your brain off. Not entirely. Like you don't want to turn your brain off and never turn it back on again. Like you want to stay aware of what's going on around you. Um, building community when you can. Um, knowing how to help people that are in less good of a circumstance. I think that that's incredibly important. I think it's always important to like help your neighbor and to try not to be super isolated. I mean, obviously, I haven't always lived that like that, but I think that as I get older, I realize how important community is. But I also think that there is a place to, I don't know, hide under the covers and listen to an audiobook that makes you think nothing and just hide from the world for a little bit. I think that you got to kind of balance, for at least for me, I kind of have to find a balance of both in my life. Let me see how close are we? This is sleeves are always hard for me because like I have short arms, so it's telling me to knit this to 22 inches, but I don't actually know if 22 inches would be too long. Like yeah, 22 inches is like, I don't know how much of shoulder cap I'm gonna have. So I'm at 19. I'm at 20. I think I need to start increasing a little bit more than they want me to. Oh crap. That's just, I mean, it's kind of like I always kind of have to make adjustments like this for sleeves just because my arms are so short. I kind of have to do increases in just like more increases than I normally would at a shorter rate. Because right now the pattern says to um, add an increase every 10 rows, add two increases on every 10 rows. And I'm supposed to get to 89 stitches, and I have no idea where I am right now. But I think I'm going to end up having to do it maybe every like 6th and 10th. So I want to keep it on my knit rows. We'll see. It's probably like, I'm just realizing that the issue with the knit and chat is that I don't actually look at the camera very often because I am not one of those knitters that can, well, definitely I can't purl very well without looking down. But we'll see. We'll see how this does. I felt like this is just a really great thing to do as I'm trying to get through the progress of these sleeves, or to get more progress on these sleeves. Again, I think I keep saying this is not going to be ready to wear before fall, and I've just kind of resigned myself to the fact that this is a slow craft. It's fine if it's slow. I just thought it would be a faster project because it's so short in the body. But I'm realizing the sleeves, which is like one of the final things you do, is the most knitting I've done for this entire project. So, but yeah, so I talked about book, talked about work. What else do I want to talk about? My garden. This is also the problem, is that like it's hard to like keep talking and thinking about the next thing you're gonna do while you're like, oh, purl stitch, purl stitch. Um, I was watching some really interesting discourse on YouTube about. I mean, I think everybody is kind of all talking about de-influencing and like wearing your wardrobe, and I think it's a really. I don't know if it's an interesting conversation because I think it's like so many people put their 2 cents on it, but I think it's a good reminder for me that I don't have to have a bunch of like I don't have to like work myself to the bone to try to get things done, um, because it's a slow craft, and also I want to do things at a level of, I don't know if it's professionalism or quality. I just want it to last, because I am definitely one of those people that if I ever found a pair of socks that could last me the rest of my life, I would probably buy 7 pairs of socks from that maker. Like I like things to last. I don't like to. I know that like replacing everything has a life. Like every item that we buy, like it all has a shelf life. Like it's at some point things will deteriorate, things will break down, and that is just the normal. That's normal for a material object, um, and also like organic object. Like everything has a life. But if I can extend that life to 5, 10, 20 years, then I definitely want that thing over um, something that's going to last a year. And that includes like things that I make, because there had definitely been in the very beginning of my sewing journey. I remember the first dress I made when I was in college. I made it with like a simplicity pattern, and I spent a ton of money on the fabric. The fabric was polyester, but I spent a ton of money on it for a college student, and it was poorly made, and I never wore it. And so, I mean, part of that is like the growing pains of learning a new skill, but also if I can, now that I'm older, if I can avoid that, if I can do things at a slower space, I could also like I was trying to get that done for my costuming final, so I was rushing through and just kind of like shoving things through a sewing machine instead of really taking my time unpicking stitches if they look like crap. Um, I am out of yarn. Hold please. All right, fresh new ball. I think I have 2 more. So, well, hopefully I don't lose yarn. All right, so I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna spit splice, and I think I'm gonna skip that. So I'm gonna cut here, and we're back. I didn't think anybody would want to watch me spit splice, so I think it's okay to edit there. Um, but what was I saying? Oh, I think that like just taking your time to do things well so that the garment will last a really long time is more and more important to me as I get older. Because I just don't like redoing things. So while this project has kind of annoyed me because it's in pieces, it's taking me a long time. It's fingering weight yarn. The yarn is not bad to work with. It's just, it takes a lot longer to get length when you're working back and forth, as far as like instead of going in the round. So I think that just reminding myself that this is part of my, maybe not de-influencing, but like my part in trying to reduce my consumerism is to actually be intentional about how I put things into my wardrobe, and when I'm making something, not just rushing through to get something done. Like I think that I have a tendency to make myself into the, like, I don't know, whatever the handmade version of fast fashion. I think I tend to do that to myself, where I'll just try to um, push out more and more product without really enjoying the process and taking my time to make sure that things are done well. And like that's seen in my channel that like there have been definitely times where I'm like, oh, I messed this up, but I don't really care. And then I do think there, like, perfection is not the goal. Um, I think it's important to like just have a balance there where you're not like beating your head or banging your head against the wall trying to have every stitch perfect. Because I mean, like, as you can see, like, this is not an amazing tension. I mean, it's going to get worked out in blocking, but like I know that like there's probably people out there who would redo some of these stitches because the tension isn't amazing. But I know it's going to get worked out in blocking, and that genuinely doesn't bother me. And I don't need things to look store-bought. I think that there's a lot of patterns out there that look very, very professional. Like some of these pattern designers do just a fantastic job. I do wonder if we're all kind of turning into like sad beige people, as she says, as she is knitting something in a beige or brown beige. But I do think that everything I've seen has been like, with the exception of like an occasional pop of red, an occasional pop of yellow. Like, you sometimes like in the summer you'll see those patterns that have like just extreme neon colors, which I love. I don't necessarily want to wear neon yellow, but I love that it exists. I love that somebody else did it. But I wonder if we're kind of, as the knitting community, and again, this is not a new take. Lots of people have had the same take, but I think that we're just kind of, everything is very there's a little bit of the soul of knitting is kind of feels like it's being sanitized, where like everything kind of looks the same. Everything, I mean, there's definitely exceptions, and I do think that like it's an interesting thing for me to say because I do like clean lines for the most part. I do love tradition. Like, as far as like, I love a fisherman's sweater. I love a Guernsey. Guernsey? Guernsey? I love a Fair Isle. But I think that you can lean into these garments that have. So I was just told by my camera that the amount of recording time has been reached. So I probably should wrap this up soon. But I guess the what I wanted to say was that I think that we can do some of these cultural traditional garments and still give them personality. Because I think inherently, like things like Fair Isle, I think that they inherently have personality, and I think that that's going to be something that I lean into once I'm done with this sweater. And I have another sweater that's going to be kind of an oatmeal color, but I think that once I'm done with the few sweaters that I have that are now in these beigey colors, I think that I'm going to be done with beige for a while, done with browns, because I think that I have my neutrals. I have a really great base of neutrals that I can work off of, which I needed. I needed these in my wardrobe. I needed things that could go over dresses. I needed things that could easily incorporate themselves into my wardrobe. But now I think that I need more color. And actually, the silk that I was going to use for a headband, I think I'm going to use it as a top. I have it wound up here. So I think this is going to end up being a shirt. Obviously, there's 50 grams here. So not quite enough for a shirt, but I think I might buy another ball. And I think maybe two, because this is like 495 yards, maybe? So maybe something with 800 yards would be enough to make a top, maybe like a lacy top, I don't know. But I think that just leaning into more color, can I do this? Yes, I got it where it was supposed to go. So leaning into more color, transitioning out of just doing neutrals. I do love neutrals, but I think I need, I've knit now. This is my third brown sweater. I think I have enough brown sweaters. I mean, granted, my long cable knit cardigan can read more orange than brown, but I want to get away, kind of transition away from just doing neutrals. I do think I still want to do a navy cardigan, but maybe like a bright navy cardigan instead of like a dark navy cardigan. But we'll see. I still have a navy cardigan that I bought from a thrift store, so I don't actually need it quite yet. It's gotten kind of, when I bought it, it was a little mothy, a little holy, and so I've repaired it, but eventually I think it's going to end up needing to be replaced. But anyways, I think that's all I have for today. I am going to finish this row, and hopefully for next week we will have at least one finished sleeve. I would love it if the second sleeve was started, but again, I'm trying to give myself compassionate deadlines, trying to go slow. I do think that this is going to come to an end. This sleeve is going to come to an end soon because it's just getting kind of long. And I just don't think I think I need to just do a lot of increases to make sure that I have enough stitches. I think I'm supposed to have like 80 something. But anyways, until I see you next week, I hope you have plenty of times to do your hobbies, and you have a lovely week. And yeah, until next time, happy knitting, happy singing, happy gardening, happy whatever you're doing. And I'll see you later. Okay. Bye!